You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a player spotlight interview is 2016 NFL draft prospect, wide receiver of Alabama State University. He's Demario Bell, and thanks for taking some time today, Demario. Now, I got to say, you have a heck of a story, especially when it comes to how you landed at Alabama State. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you landed at ASU, because you actually had a few opportunities to play in the FBS.
Yeah, so it was a long story, but it started out my junior year. I had a pretty average year, and I didn't have much interest in me. But my senior year, I got my first offer mid-season from West Alabama, and up until like a couple weeks before signing day, that was the only offer that I had. So in my mind, I was going to West Alabama for the whole time. But long story short, Illinois came down and looked at my quarterback because he was a big prospect, Mr. Football for the state of Alabama, Jamal Golden that year, and they came down and looked at him, and they just saw me on his highlight tape, and they offered both of us on the spot. They just called it in the field, and they offered both of us. So like that excited me a lot, because every high school football player in the nation is about getting like an offer from a big time school, especially like me, because I never really thought that would happen to me. Like I wanted it to, but I knew it wasn't a guarantee. When I got it, it was like the world being given to me. But unfortunately, I didn't really know much about the recruitment process, and like I didn't have anybody who could help me, like to help me guide me in that aspect of it, because it was just me, my mom, and my sister. So I didn't commit. So they called me maybe 2 weeks after, and they told me they was pulling my scholarship because I didn't commit, and they felt like I wasn't interested, and they felt like they were going to offer to another kid more interested than I was. So I understood where they were coming from, but at the same time, it hurt a lot. And so I was back in West Alabama again. So until signing day, actually, the morning of signing day, Coach Rogers from Alabama State, he's no longer a coach here, but he was a D-line coach. He came down and talked to me. Like, they called me to the field house. I'm like, what is this? It's signing day. Who's coming to talk to me on signing day? But I came to the field house like in my West Alabama hoodie and hat, and I was geared up, ready to go. But he talked to me and convinced me to just come on back down the road to Alabama State. I grew up in Montgomery, and I always knew about Alabama State, and I never got any interest from them until that day. So I took the offer, and I ended up coming to Alabama State, and then I started to Alabama State. I came that the following summer, I enrolled, I graduated in May, and in June I was in school at Alabama State. So when I got here, it was right up in the paper about how my head coach didn't really help the senior class get recruitment. I mean, he didn't really put us out there, expose us and try to get us to the next level, because we had a class of 26 seniors who made it to the third round of the playoffs. I mean, we made a lot of, team accomplished a lot. It was a pretty good team. Probably one of the best teams I ever played on. And, the only three of us signed to play college football after high school. So, and in the article, it just talked about how he just used the players just to put it to advertise himself. And then once he was done with that, he just didn't care about their well-being afterwards. And they talked about how even a standout athlete like my quarterback, he had all kind of accolades like Gatorade Player of the Year, Old Spice Player of the Year, Mr. Football for the state of Alabama. He didn't get an offer from any of the major universities in the state. And that just didn't sound right. But then it got to the aspect the part of it that concerned me the most, talked about how they were talking about Coach Willis. Coach Willis was the assistant coach there. He talked about, it was an interview with him, and he talked about how it was a speakerphone conversation between my then head coach, Coach Anderson, and the wide receiver coach at Miami. And he was telling me how he was prepared to offer me. He just wanted my head coach to upload my highlights onto YouTube so he could show his head coach and get it okay. My coach declined to do it, and his reason for doing so was he told the paper that he thought it was a joke, and that was about it. But by that time I was already here and signed, so it really wasn't much I could do about it, but just to hear about it kind of hurt.
Right.
It did hurt a lot. I wouldn't even lie.
I couldn't even imagine. I mean, here you are. First, you're thinking you're going to be playing ball for the Fighting Illini, and then, the next thing you know, you have the rug pulled under you from under your feet, and you got the offer yanked off the table. Just talk about that really quick. I mean, I got to think that was very discouraging. Like you said, you weren't very familiar with the whole recruiting process. So again, Illinois, they have an offer on the table. You think you're going to be playing ball. And then all of a sudden they pull the offer. At any point, did you ever think about giving up? Because, like I said, I got to think that was very discouraging.
No, I never thought about giving up on it because I knew, I'm the type of person, I've been through a lot, but I don't let things I go through, affect me as a person. I'm not going to get down on myself because something happened. I feel like if that offer was full, there's a reason why it was full. There's a reason why I ended up at Alabama State. And no matter where I am, if I put up numbers and I perform, then I will be seen, I will be noticed, and I can reach my goals.
Right, and Demario, you mentioned it just a second ago. You were at Alabama State, so again, there wasn't too much you could do about it. But what was your reaction to finding out that the University of Miami, they were interested in you and wanted to see some tape on you? But of course, like you said, your high school coach thought it was a joke. I mean, I got to think you're pretty upset. Again, you're already at Alabama State, so there wouldn't be too much that you'd be able to do about it. But I got to think that was very upsetting to find that out. And, I don't know what I'd be able to do with myself. I mean, obviously, you're already at Alabama State. There wasn't much you could do about it, but I got to think it was very upsetting.
Yeah, it was. It brought tears to my eyes, immediately, when I read it, because it was one of my friends brought it to me. One of the guys who graduated with me, he didn't play football with me, but he went to the same high school, we was roommates at the time. He was like, "Hey, you seen the paper, bro? The write up ahead about Coach Anderson." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He showed it to me. It brought tears to my eyes. So the first thing I did, when I read, I just called my mom. I told her about what it was saying. She was like, she couldn't even believe it. She thought at first I was joking around with her or something. I was like, no, I took a picture of it and sent it to her. She's like, well, this is for real. I think she got more mad than I was, but it was a crazy situation to have to deal with.
And you know what? There's one thing about, a teacher or a coach upsetting you, but when he upsets your mom, man, when he upsets your mother, that's a whole other thing. So I don't know if that could. So, after all this, again, you decided that you were going to attend Alabama State and play for the Hornets. Now, football in the state of Alabama, it's pretty serious. Now, I know you aren't suiting up for the Crimson Tide, but growing up in Alabama, what's it like to suit up for the hometown team? What was it like to suit up for the hometown team for the last 4 years?
It was a good feeling because growing up, I always went to I didn't go to a lot of the Alabama State games, but I was always at all the classic games, Magic City Classic, Turkey Day Classic, stuff like that. Just even a little kid, because my grandparents, they're the biggest Alabama State fans ever. So I was always around it. I thought about Alabama State. I had been around it since I was young. And it was a great feeling to just get out on the field and be a Hornet, and especially see my grandparents and my parents in the stands. I'm at home, all my family could see me and see the players. It felt like I was at home the whole time I was there.
Absolutely. And throughout your collegiate career, Demario, I see that you recorded 77 receptions for nearly 1,700 yards and 11 touchdowns, and that makes you the seventh all-time in Alabama State receiving records. Now, unfortunately, I know that your senior season didn't go as you probably expected. The NCAA forced you to miss some time, as did a hamstring injury. Talk about your overall experience at Alabama State, and what is one thing that you'll miss most about the college game and suiting up for the Hornets?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. The thing I miss most about college in general is just my teammates and the friendships I built with the guys around me. Because my class, we came in, it was a big class, but a lot of them didn't make it to the point of graduation. But now it's me and 4 other guys that came in on my visit. We've been close the entire time we've been here. We get a chance to graduate together tomorrow, so it's a great feeling. I think I'm gonna miss that the most, just being around people, genuine people that you know and with common interests and just your friends. You can't find that anywhere.
Demario Bell, the 2016 NFL draft prospect out of Alabama State. the Hornets. Joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible. And Demario, I see that the Alabama State website has you listed at 6'3", 180 pounds. Is that accurate?
I got to go ahead and tell the truth. I'm not officially 6'3", officially I'm 6'1", but the one everybody
Well, hey, still, I mean, as long, I mean, you see receivers. I mean, look at Steve Smith. He's 5'9", and he's having a Hall of Fame career. So, I mean, 6'1" is obviously fine. 185 pounds. Now, obviously, some great size for a wide receiver, and that certainly stands out. What would you say is your biggest strength as a receiver, and what is something that you think you could work on to get better at?
Probably my biggest strength as a receiver would probably be deep ball, like ball skills. That's like my favorite part of my game. Like, it just comes natural to me. That's probably the most natural part of my game. Probably the part that I have to work on the most is probably my patience and my route running, because I haven't really been, I've never been like in most offenses I've been in, like, I've just been the guy to stretch the field. I've never been really had to be the guy to be a possession guy and make possession plays until I got to college, and that's really where my maturity came in. That I had to mature as a receiver and learn to be patient, especially like in man situations. Like, I was bad at it my freshman year, but they didn't really trust me with it. That's why I just started at the beginning of the season, but I got it better with it. And eventually probably what I need to work on.
And I don't think that's something that you could ever really perfect. I think every receiver could always get better at that. Now, it does look like you played in a run-first type of offense, and obviously with running backs like Isaiah Crowell and Malcolm Cyrus, I mean, you certainly cannot go wrong with running the ball. Talk a little bit about how important it is for a receiver like yourself in a run-first-based offense to learn how to love to block. I mean, at first you may not like it as much. I mean, especially being a receiver, you want to make the plays, you want the ball in your hands. But when you see how much it could help the team, I mean, I'm sure it makes blocking a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it does. Like, me personally, like, I've always been in the run first offense, so I've always had the mindset and been told by my coaches that I wouldn't play unless I blocked. So I've always been one to block. So, like, but you really appreciate it. Like, when you understand the game more, you start to understand and appreciate it more, because, like, 20-yard plays become 40-yard touchdowns with the blocking that you do on the outside. Like, it's not a lot of receivers, like, overlook blocking because they think, oh, I'm a receiver, I'm going to catch the ball, run the ball. No, you're supposed to help your team win in whichever way you can. And, like, blocking is the area that a lot of people overlook because they feel like it's not as glorified. It's like catching up touchdowns and doing it, but it's just as important as all that. And me personally, that's actually where I injured myself on the blocking play. My last show on the pancake block, it was my last game. It was a great story, but a bad story at the same time, because it was senior night, my last game, and I actually dislocated my elbow on the pancake block, like the second play of the game.
Oh, wow.
But I gave it my all, and so I was kind of down about it, but I'm all right with it, I guess.
Hey, as long as you left it all on the field, I mean, that's all that matters. How's the elbow coming along nowadays?
It's a lot better now. I've been doing rehab. I got into almost 100%, but not quite there yet.
All right. Now playing in the SWAC, Demario, I mean, there's a lot of talented players that obviously come out of that conference. I know that Jackson State had a couple of really good defensive backs that really stood out to me a couple years ago in Quake Cox and Ryan Griffin. Who would you say is the best player that you've had to go up against over the last 4 years?
The best player I had to go up against the last 4 years, I would have to say it might have been Quake Cox. Simply because, like, when the time that I met him on the field, it was his senior year, and my junior year, he was a lot more mature than I was. And, like, that was the first – he's probably the most patient corner I ever played against. So that was the most trying corner for me, because that's the area where I struggled with the most, and that was his strong point. So it was always a battle with him.
And, of course, I mean, Quay Cox, he, like you said, he was a little older than you. He was actually able to play in the Senior Bowl, the Reese Senior Bowl, and go on to have play in the preseason with the Indianapolis Colts. And I believe just the other day he signed a contract in the Arena Football League. So obviously he's still out there living his dream, playing professional football. Now, final question for you, Demario, and I really do appreciate your time. If an NFL general manager was listening to this interview, let's say we got all 32 teams lined up listening to this interview, why should they want wide receiver out of Alabama State, Demario Bell, a part of their squad?
You should want me to be a part of your team because no matter what assignment you give me, I'm going to execute it to the fullest of my ability. I don't care if you want me to run down the field on kickoff, special team, whatever it is, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to help the team to the best of my ability. And with that being said, I have the work ethic of somebody who doesn't have talent, but at the same time, I have the talent, and I've never been in any type of trouble, no type of disciplinary problems. And I'm a great guy. I pick up on offensive fast. I'm a great teammate, and it's a long list of stuff. Should I keep going? Well, I'll just cut it there because
Hey, there's a lot of reasons why teams should want Demario Bell, the wide receiver out of Alabama State, on their squad. And you know what, Demario, I lied to you. Here's my final question for you. And again, I do appreciate your time. As your pro day comes, now I know we still got a lot of time. We still got a few months, or you still got plenty of time to train for it. But do you have any specific numbers that you'd like to reach? Any specific goals that you have written down that you'd like to hit for your pro day?
Yeah, I do actually for my target goal this past summer when we tested out. I got a 38. But pro day, I want to burst out a 40. I want to try to get rid of 40. That put me in elite status. And for 40, my 40, I never really had any real official 40 training, so I'm really excited about getting some training on that. And I'm expecting. I placed the bar high on myself. I really want to run a 4.3, a high 4.3.
Wow.
We'll see how that goes.
Right. And you know what? I mean, if you nail a pro day, if you have a very solid pro day, I mean that alone could do wonders for you. I mean, I remember I've been chatting over the last few years with Arkansas Pine Bluff wide receiver Isaiah Ferguson, and dominated his pro day. I think he had like a 4.40, had an insane vert, did nice on the bench press, and he didn't put up any flashy numbers throughout his collegiate career, but just that pro day alone, and obviously being 6'4" probably helps him a lot too. But he was able to get a shot with the St. Louis Rams. But Demario, like I said, man, that's all I have for you. I'm certainly wishing you all the best throughout this draft process. Congratulations on graduation, as you said, is coming up, and again, I'm wishing you all the best, man.
All right, thank you.